All right, let's jump right in. The goal here isn't to figure out how to impress the world. Nope. It's to figure out how to finally meet yourself.
I mean, think about it. From the moment we're born, we're kind of handed these scripts for a life we didn't even write. It starts super early. Your parents have a vision for you, a whole path they've already mapped out in their heads.
And then your friends come along, and they have their own set of expectations, their own inside jokes, a specific role they need you to play in the group. And of course, you've got social media, which demands this perfect, polished highlight reel. A life that looks amazing in a little square grid, even if it doesn't always feel that amazing to live. So in the middle of all this noise, one really simple but incredibly powerful question gets completely lost. Who am I, really? When all those other voices are gone, who's actually left?
The ancient Greek philosopher Socrates had a pretty challenging answer for that. He said, the unexamined life is not worth living. Now, he didn't mean that life itself is useless. What he meant was, if you never look inside, you risk spending your entire life just acting in a movie that you didn't even write.
So let's start with our first challenge, what I'm calling the world's noise. We're going to take that famous phrase, know thyself, and treat it not as some dusty old quote, but as a mission.
First off, we have to be really clear on what this isn't. Knowing yourself is not your bio, it's not your job title, and it is definitely not your Instagram grid. No, it's about asking the deeper questions. What do I truly care about when nobody's watching? Which fears are secretly driving my choices?
Socrates believed that real wisdom begins right here, with this one humble admission. Saying, there is a lot I do not know about myself, isn't a weakness. It's actually the most essential first step toward becoming a truly authentic person.
Okay, so how do we start examining our lives? Well, let's look at what we'll call the Socratic Mirror. Socrates' method basically acts like a mirror, reflecting our inner world back at us so we can finally see it clearly.
You know, we all have these two characters living inside us. There's the mask you wear for the world. That's the one that smiles when it's tired and agrees with things just to keep the peace. And then there's that quiet voice inside, the one that sometimes whispers, you know, this doesn't really feel like me.
Socrates used to just walk around Athens asking these powerful people deceptively simple questions, like, what is courage? Or, what is a good life? This was his whole method. Most people would answer with total confidence, but after a few more questions, their certainty would just crumble, and it would reveal they were just running on beliefs they'd never actually examined.
So let's turn that mirror on ourselves, right now. If nobody, not your parents, not your friends, not your boss, if nobody judged you, what would you actually do with your time? And hey, if that question is hard to answer, it just means you've been too busy living to be busy examining.
Now let's build this into a practical tool with your inner dialogue. Socrates used questions like a surgeon uses a scalpel to cut away the confusion and all the borrowed beliefs until only your truth remains. And the cool part is, you can use this same method on yourself.
Let's take a really common, high-pressure belief that a lot of us carry. It's the idea that I must get a high-status job or I am a failure. It feels heavy, right? Okay, let's put it under the Socratic microscope. First, what do I believe here? I need a high-status job. Simple enough. Second, where did that come from? Was it society? Your parents? Maybe fear? Third, is it always true? I mean, do you know kind, honest people without high-status jobs that you deeply respect? Of course you do. And finally, what happens if I keep living by this rule for 10 more years?
So here's the crucial point. When you do this, your mind starts to separate your voice from everyone else's, and that is Socratic self-knowledge. It's not about memorizing more facts, it's about unlearning the lies that have been secretly running your life.
Now for our final section, Authenticity's daily practice. Because this isn't just a thought exercise. For Socrates, authenticity had the highest stakes imaginable. He wasn't killed for being wrong. He was killed because he refused to be someone he was not.
The city of Athens gave him a stark choice. They basically told him, stop asking these uncomfortable questions. Stop making people examine their own lives. Just conform or drink this poison.
He chose the poison. Because for him, a life where his inner voice and his outer actions didn't match, well, that was no life at all.
Now, we probably won't face a choice that extreme, but we face smaller versions of it every single day. Laughing at a joke you find offensive, staying in a career you don't believe in just to please others, keeping up with a fake friend group because it's just easier than being alone. Every single one is a small choice between your mask and your truth.
So how do we practice this? You don't need a philosophy degree. You just need a simple 5-minute ritual at the end of each day. Ask yourself 3 things. 1. Where was I a little bit fake today? 2. Where was I totally true today? And 3. What one tiny action tomorrow will make my life a little more mine?
And this is where you see the long-term power of this practice. Over time, these small, daily questions, they act like a chisel. They slowly carve away all the pieces that aren't you until your real self starts to emerge.
You know, Socrates never promised an easy life. He promised a real one. And yeah, you might lose some fake approval along the way, but you gain something so much bigger. That quiet, powerful feeling of looking in the mirror and thinking, this is me. Imperfect, sure. Still questioning, always evolving, but finally, mine.
And that's really the heart of it all. It's a challenge to every single one of us. Don't just go through the motions of your life. Take the time to know the one who's actually living it.